Yes, I am a huge MMA fan, but with that being said, you will not catch me dead watching Bellator. Now, I know some of you are thinking, look, they've got some good fights, they've got some really good fighters, you're really missing out not watching the promotion every now and then. And since you make videos about the sport, you should probably try to get educated on different facets of the fight game. Well, here's what I say to those people. No, I refuse. I'm also a big basketball fan, but you're not going to catch me watching the WNBA anytime soon either. If something actually interesting happens in another promotion, I'm sure I'll hear about it. And that is exactly what happened. Current Bellator lightweight champion Usman Nurmogomedov, who is the cousin to a so-called Khabib Nurmogomedov, has tested positive for an illegal substance and has been banned for 6 months, stripped of the title, and fined $50,000. But hold on, everybody. Put your torches and pitchforks down for a second, because Usman came out and said, "Oh no, I was not taking a steroid. No, this was actually from a medication I was taking that happened to have this banned substance in it that I was unaware about." So, there you go. But, actually what's funny is the anti-doping agency actually has protocols to make sure that this doesn't happen. You're instructed that anytime you take any kind of supplement, any kind of medicine, medication, anything that is not just basic food and drink, you need to report it to them so they can find out if there's anything in there that can possibly get you in trouble. This is very common practice. All the fighters know about it. All the fighters' management is supposed to know about it. But Usman Nurmogomedov didn't do this, and that's because apparently him and his team forgot. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a whole lot of maybe Usman's telling the truth. Maybe him and his very experienced manager Ali Abdelaziz, who has many years of experience managing fighters, just forgot. Just like how John Jones had Turinabol pulsing in his system because he took an off-brand Cialis. Or that Uberim tested for every single steroid in the book because of horse meat. All of these are very real possibilities, and some people would just leave it at that, but I decided I wanted to go a step further. I got a good buddy of mine named Jackson Dugan who works part-time as a Dagestani MMA hater, and I asked him to do some digging on the matter to try and see if we can find any more proof that might point to Usman Nurmogomedov willingly taking a drug to try to enhance his performance. And let's just say he found some good stuff. For starters, we still don't know exactly what Usman tested positive for. The only thing we know is it was in a medication that he apparently had a prescription for. Directly after the positive test, Usman filed for a therapeutic use exemption, but it was denied. Well, funny enough, an extremely suspiciously similar event happened with somebody on Usman Nurmagomedov's MMA team. Back in 2016, Islam Makhachev was set to fight Drew Dober when he had a positive test, which pulled him from the fight. Now, unlike Usman, we actually know what substance Makhachev popped for. It's something called meldonium, and Makhachev claimed it came from a prescription heart medicine that he also suspiciously didn't report to USADA. For those who don't know, meldonium is the thing that got the Russians booted from the Olympics. It's an extremely popular performance-enhancing drug used by Eastern European athletes because it's only made by one company in Latvia. And get this, meldonium and EPO have the same effects. Both increase blood flow and promote oxygen recovery. So here we have two athletes that are on the exact same fight team. They have both tested positive for a banned substance that they both claimed came from a prescription medication. Yet both of them failed to report this medication like they were supposed to. And the specific substance that Islam Makhachev was found taking was the same one that got the Russians booted from the Olympics. It has the same effects as EPO, and it is only produced in Latvia. Now, I'm not going to say they were 100% using performance-enhancing drugs with the sole intention of having an advantage over their opponents because of the fact that I can get sued for that. But let's just say completely hypothetically, you asked me what my personal opinion is on this subject. My personal opinion is Usman Nurmogomedov and Islam Makhachev were both using performance-enhancing drugs. And there is a very, very high likelihood that the rest of the team is using the exact same stuff they did. This includes Khabib Nurmogomedov, and it also includes Usman Nurmogomedov. And lastly, this should not be a surprise to anybody because the fact of the matter is the far, far, far majority of MMA fighters are using performance-enhancing drugs. And this is just a fact that so many people have not come to terms with yet. I had made a video a while back saying that there should be no drug tests in MMA, and a lot of people lost their minds about that. But the fact of the matter is, if you are going to get into a cage and fight another man who you know is most likely using performance-enhancing drugs, because why wouldn't he? Everybody's using it. Why aren't you going to do the exact same thing? Chito Vera said it himself. It takes $20,000 to consistently beat USADA, who is known to have the most strict, stringent testing that exists. Now, I already discussed all the ways athletes get around these drug tests in my video titled, USADA is out, why the UFC should have no drug testing. So if you want to learn about that, you can watch that video, but honestly, just watch the YouTube channel More Plates, More Dates. That's where I get all my information from anyway. But like I said, I think there's still a lot of ignorance on this topic. There were quite a few people in the comments of my video about no drug testing saying things like, man, it's such a shame for these athletes who don't want to ruin their body using steroids. Steroids do not ruin your body. Of course, there are risks to using anything. If you abuse steroids, of course, it can have horrible effects on you. And steroid abuse is a real problem. But if you have a good team of doctors around you who monitor what you're taking and how much and are specifically there to maximize your performance and decrease the negative side effects, it is not bad for you. It is not going to ruin your body. You know what's going to ruin your body? Getting into a cage and fighting somebody on a regular basis. That's what's going to destroy your body. Taking testosterone and HGH is only actually going to help your body recover. Right now, in the NBA, players are allowed to take double the amount of testosterone you would normally get on testosterone replacement therapy a week. And that is to help recover from injuries and allow them to play an 82-game season. This was pointed out from a subscriber of mine, and you can find that comment pinned in my no drug testing video. He says something I think is really important. He says, we need to move towards hormone optimization instead of getting so scared at the word steroid. Because that's where we're at right now. The far majority of the public hears the word PED or steroid, and they automatically start thinking negatively about it. Like it's bad for you. This is something we should run away from. That is not the case. Of course there are risks when taking it. In the world of professional jiu-jitsu, everybody is on steroids. Gordon Ryan admits it, and people in the know say his stack is maxed out, but there's no one over there dropping dead. And that's because using PEDs responsibly, which is what the far majority of athletes are going to do because that's actually more beneficial than abusing it, it is a huge aid to recovery. And the athletes who should be allowed to use it are the ones who are physically damaging themselves for our entertainment.